I'm Maruno, and the purpose of today's video is going to be to discuss chaos and specifically the human resistance to chaos. I think that when we hear that word chaos, it kind of like, it's just frightening. It kind of frightens us when we hear that word chaos because we think we're thinking like explosions, anarchy, like just disaster, just a big just like mess. And the natural kind of like human response to a mess is to try to like clean it up, right? So you make a mess, you clean it up because you think the mess isn't supposed to be there. It's supposed to be how I want it. But funnily enough, no matter what you do trying to clean up, somehow there's always a mess somewhere. It's like when you're sweeping with a broom and there's always that fucking like one little annoying ass line that you can't get into the dustpan, you know? It's like that. Humans fail to realize that they are themselves the mess. You know, if you ever cleaned up your room, if you haven't noticed, the mess is always where you were at. You know, the part of your room that you're never in is just perfectly just however it's clean because from the last time you cleaned it. But then all the spots that you were at, that's where the mess is. And basically what I'm trying to illustrate right now is that chaos is in our nature. Chaos is nature. There's no difference between humans and nature. And resistance to chaos is like a resistance to yourself. So there's a bunch of different ways that this resistance to chaos kind of shows itself in the way humans interact with each other. So like pretty much any argument, all arguments are rooted in I want things to be my way. So if you think things another way, then I have a problem with that. And what the other person's ideas represent is chaos. So in my life, my ideas represent order, but that person's ideas that contradict or go against mine, that's chaos. So I am resistant to that person's ideas. I want to have an argument with that person. I might even want to fight that person or kill that person. And like the chaos that we are, we don't notice it within ourselves, like as it's operating. So, well, we notice it, but we kind of will chalk it up. We'll add the part that we notice into our identity. So if I'm just having a bunch of thoughts, which is normal for a person, people is just all day, your mind isn't constantly just in flux, right? You're just having all these thoughts coming in and out. Like some of them you like, some of them you don't. And the ones that you like, those are the ones you take. The ones that you don't, you kind of just like forget or ignore. But like we might have these thoughts and we might have certain, like, let's say for example, you're like locked into a certain like negative cognitive state. Like you think that you are depressed, for example. What's happening is that you are constantly having thoughts that make you sad, and then you give a whole bunch of attention to them, and then you keep adding on to that sad, you keep adding on to it. So you'll have a sad thought, and then you'll have another thought that amplifies the sadness of that thought, and you'll have another thought that amplifies the sadness of that thought, and it's just this fucking wreck. And that goes for like any sort of like person who thinks that they are a certain way. So if you think that you're like a short-tempered person, you're just taking something that somebody did that you don't like. It's attacking your identity, or some kind of image that you have about yourself. It attacks that image, so then you get upset about it, and then you keep having further thoughts of like, why is it so much more wrong that this person is thinking what they're thinking as opposed to what I'm thinking. You just keep having these thoughts. That person's an idiot. You know, I'm gonna show that guy who's right. You know, and it's just like thoughts that keep adding on each other, and you keep holding. You're like, you don't see how it's your attention that is just riling itself up. But once you kind of like notice this chaos about yourself, when you kind of notice that you got all this chaos in your mind, first and foremost, you notice that I am the chaos. So there's nothing I can do. There's nothing, how a chaotic mind cannot unchaotic itself. It cannot create an unchaotic structure. Because if I try to forcibly organize my chaos, it's just going to become chaos. Like, it's just like, there's no way that a chaotic mind is going to organize. Like, that's just like what we're doing with society, you know, like we're trying to organize ourselves, and out of that is coming chaos. True chaos produces a natural order, and that's kind of just like what nature is. Like, when you go out in nature and you are just looking at some big like horizon, or maybe you're looking at like just a mountain peak, or just like a nature trail, trees, flowers and stuff, everything just kind of like, it's a chaos, but it's also kind of just like beautiful. Like, there's just this order to it. It just makes sense. Nothing seems out of place. And that's what you are, and you actually have that ability to be like that cognitively, but it's going to require that you give up this strong attachment to all these strong, like this identity that you have. So you have to realize that it can't be just your way, because the truth is not your way. When you say your way is the best way, what you're trying to do is you're trying to beat true chaos's way. So the true chaos is the nature, that is the energy that we all came out of, that we all are still right now expressing itself. And so when you say the way you think it should be is better than that, you always lose. You always end up in a frustrated situation. And when you see that in yourself, that I'm battling chaos internally, and you put a halt to that, and you recognize, like, I don't have to judge myself. Like, I don't have to place limits on my life. Then you start to see everyone else in that same way. Like, everyone else is just doing the same thing I'm doing. Like, they have all these things that they're thinking, some of the things they like, some of the things they don't like, and it's coming out of them like that. But collectively, if we all realize we don't have to be a certain way, we can get rid of the conditioning that we have, like the conditioning that we're supposed to be. Like, you've had a certain upbringing, right? Like, you have like your parents, your whole family, your school structure, your workplace dynamics, like and then just like your regular friends. Like, all these things are conditioning, are conditioning you. Like, they're conditioning your mind, the way you think, and it's likely that you have ideas of the way things should be or are supposed to be. And so you have that freedom right now to stop giving authority to that idea. You don't have to. There's no way that anything has to be. And quite frankly, there is no way that anything is going to be. And so what's going to happen is, if you continue along in your life resisting the truth, you're just going to feel it grinding against you. You're just going to feel it just fucking grating against you, because there's no stopping the truth. The truth just is what it is. The truth, the reason why a lot of people like resist this chaos or truth is because it's simply just not about what they like. You know, the truth, you know, it doesn't care. It's not, the truth isn't making itself to fit your little worldview to make it happy. The truth is just doing what it is. It just is what it is. And there's no, you can't expect that thing to conform to your ideas. You have to open yourself up to that, because that thing is smarter than you. That thing created you, and you just have to trust it. So through giving up this strong sense of self and identity that you have, you can start feeling the truth of your experience. You can start acting more as one with the universe, because as within, so without. Your external reality will start to reflect your internal reality, because that's just the way it is. The inside is the outside. There's no difference between inside you and outside you. If I'm angry on the inside, I'm probably going to start making people around me angry. Like, I'm going to share that anger with people. If I'm depressed, I'm going to perceive things in a way that make me more sad, because I have an identity as a depressed person. So I'm going to perceive things in a way that maybe I'll start looking at the way humans act in a way that makes it negative in my mind. Oh, like, people are just all, they're stupid. They just can't see, why do they, I know there's a thing where people don't like it's a thing called antinatalism, where people don't are against other people having kids. So it's like you see the world like that, you're like, oh, these people, they keep having kids, oh no, the society's just gonna suck forever because these people, they keep reproducing, you know. And the way that you are internally is going to show, it's going to manifest itself outside. So when you realize that there's no way the inside has to be, you start to see the outside, that there's no way the outside has to be either. And you start to flow with the situation. You stop resisting it. You stop being a critic. You also gain a freedom, a lightness that is you're okay to die. You know, like there's no you, because all of these resistances, these things that you're these attributes that you have, that you these ideas, beliefs, and really just this general structure of a me that you're building, it's seeking security. So you keep taking beliefs, you place them on yourself, and you seek to affirm those beliefs throughout your life, throughout your daily life. So you want to affirm your identity. You want security and safety from the chaos. You want to be the spot of light in the darkness. You know, you want to be even if things don't make sense out there, at least in here they make sense. You know, that's what you're trying to do. But if you think inside, you think the way that you're thinking about things, you think is the right way, there's just you're gonna run into people outside of you that contradict your beliefs. It's just a matter, it's like you're creating an enemy. So if you're the hero, how can you be a hero if there's no enemies, you know? So a lot of what I've been talking about on my channel is about getting rid of this strong identity, because you just simply do not need it. It's a hindrance. You're placing limits on your experience that you otherwise are better off without. You have to, like, I'm literally just saying, trust the universe. Like, trust the universe that it's because what else can you do? You can just go along resisting the chaos and just fight and claw your way through the experience until you die, because you're gonna die. We all die. There's no escape from that situation. You're just gonna die. At least the vessel that you are will die. But you don't have to identify with this small little vessel that you are. Identify with the truth. The truth will set you free, literally, bruh. So hopefully this brought some attention, or hopefully this brought some awareness to your consciousness about the nature of chaos. The fact that chaos is you. You come from chaos. There's no way to separate yourself from the chaos. Just realizing that and embracing that, you end up all of your outside world is going to be a reflection of your inside world. So if you get it in yourself that I can be free, I am free, it's up to me, I don't have to cage myself, then there's no limits to you. There's no limits to your experience, and you end up floating through this situation. So I hope that helped. Other than that,